Please don't. Right, we are now live. First of all, welcome to the Game On podcast. This is episode number 2, and we are joined with 3 separate people. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. First of all, I'm Luke, and I'm the guy that runs District 23 in the bunker. And we will start off with Kian. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey lads and lasses, I'm Kian. I play for Speak. I'm also the captain, and I own Airsoft Essentials. Nice to see you all.
Morgan?
Luke.
All right. So I am Morgan. Play for SOT. Some of you guys might know me as the head marshal, who's a bit of a knobhead and loves throwing flags at people. Yeah, playing for SOT at the minute. Some of you guys might also know me because I used to be on TSR, but with SOT at the minute.
And Luke.
Evening, I'm Hicks or Luke or whatever slur usually comes my way, but I'm captain for Flashbang Airsoft.
I can see that we've already got a fair few already active in the chat as well, so that's pretty handy. As we're going through, and your SOT, I knew Kian would be on this rapid, you know.
Straight
He was messaging me earlier, kicking off, saying that he wants to be on it. He was like, "Oh, I've not been invited yet."
You definitely get
I don't think I will.
demonetized.
Yeah, I think my YouTube channel will get took down instantly.
Just get mass reported.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much a quick rundown if you've never watched the first episode of this. We pretty much just chat shit for about an hour and a half maybe. We cover a couple of topics, have a bit of banter. One person in the chat normally gets bullied. It's just usual chit chat, really. We do have some topics to go through. Obviously, Costa, who's in the chat there, was meant to be on this, but you know, him being the half a job that he was, you know, Morgan had to fill in, and you know, I think Morgan's a better co-host than Costa is, so
Yeah,
I just stay that way.
P45 in the post, Costa.
P45 in the post.
Costa wouldn't have that.
I think he'd probably be glad for it, to be honest.
a bit more game time for him.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look through the chat we've got. We've got Ethan in there, Simpson, Kiani, Costa, we've got Carl, Evan. Got a fair few, actually, working. See, that's just excuses, I think. What's everyone else think? Just excuses?
Part-timer.
Part-timer.
Take it off, Costa.
But no, we'll keep it nice and simple, and we'll go straight into the first topic, which some people might see as a little bit spicy. Maybe this might be a bit controversial, but first one is about ramping. Now, some people think we should, some people think that we shouldn't, but realistically, we've got a retailer, we've got a ref, site runner, and we've got a player all in one. So what is it that all you guys think about ramping? Is it worth it? Is it not?
So I think if we were going to bring it in, of course, I think it should be more of like an optional thing type of thing, but it should be also be like heavily regulated. So if we were to allow it, 100% you'd have to get your gun checked through one of the chronos just for an RPS check. Limited wise, I feel like some people have got like ridiculous fire rates, but I feel like if we were going to allow ramping out an option, I feel like it should be quite like a decent cap at it, maybe like, I don't know, like 15, maybe 20 RPS. You know, 20 RPS is probably more like someone's like regular semi when they're properly trying to go for it. But if it was to be brought in, I feel like it would need to be like regulated pretty heavily. And I don't think it should be a mandatory thing. Like, say for instance, like paintball, like CPPS and stuff like that. Like there's and you have to use ramping settings. I feel like that shouldn't be like.
See, I don't think it should be mandatory anyway, because then you have to pay for it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It should be whether or not you want to do it. I think it benefits people that have got a slower trigger. So like, you'd see people like me, Connor, Ash, like all the quick triggers. They wouldn't go for it. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't need to. But then if you've got like a slow trigger finger, like Kiani, then it might help him. What do you guys think about it, Luke and Kian?
Yeah, as Morgan said, I'd say maybe put it as like an optional, because as Kian said, like with the Kappa and Luke with his Sega, it's
Yeah,
probably a
apart from
bit
the
hard to
Sega, I know it's not doable,
That's
but
alright. I'll
it
just
did
use
become
full auto on the new one.
do.
That's
Get the
ramping in it.
Get the lever action, just pump it.
yeah. That thing gives me nightmares. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's like you said. If it's regulated properly, all of it's limited to a certain extent. Most people are that quick anyway. It doesn't really change anything. It just aids the people that can't shoot like Sonny does before he gets pulled for it.
But is it worth it? Though? That's the real question. Like, obviously, the main thing that's brought this about was obviously McSwain. McSwain spoke to us loads about it and was like, "Why don't you do ramping and why don't you do this?" And he's like been on it a few times, and it's good. I like ramping. I like how it helps in paintball and stuff like that. But for us to enforce it, it's impossible because you've got mechanical guns, you've got people running gas, you've got pistols and all that kind of stuff. Like it's impossible to enforce no matter what. Like it has to be an optional thing.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like obviously because as Key said in paintball, everyone's using a marker, but it's the variety. It just changes things. I, as somebody who would use different guns, I'm not bothered about it. It might be just trialing it, see how it goes, but I
Yeah,
don't see it altering it to the point where people would be upset.
I'd definitely probably give it benefit of doubt, see how it goes, plans out.
So as players, would you guys be bothered
No,
if you stepped on a field and someone was ramping?
Oh no,
no.
I don't mind.
Me personally, I wouldn't. I wouldn't mind
I wouldn't really care.
as long as it wasn't ramping at like something like 50.
Yeah, no.
No, like it's
Yeah.
got to be within a limit. Like,
Yeah.
me and Morgan were talking about this the other day. Now, what would be the correct limit as such? What, 15 to 20 something? It's got to be around that mark, like maybe a 15.
I feel like if you're given that like almost like luxury of having like that ramping option where you don't have to be like actually you don't have to like train your trigger finger. I feel like you shouldn't have the capability of having it like so like as high as people can do it with semi. You know what I mean? That's just like my take on it, and it sort of like almost takes like the skill out of it.
Yeah, I suppose. Because which ones is it that actually allow ramping now? It's the Gorillas do it.
Yeah, Gorilla T238, I believe, do it. That's
Yeah.
like the Samsung version of Gorilla, and then the Gates.
Yeah, and then they get. Is there any other ones that do it though? Because you can't do it on like
Can't do it
a
on
standard
stock.
Polar Star or like a standard Wolverine, can you?
No.
And then obviously that leads on to like obviously the next one, but with the tournament lock and with the was it the T238? Did you say?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So with that one, and obviously I know the Gorilla you can tournament lock, but can you tournament lock that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, but then again, if there's a restriction for it, so you only can use it on like an Android device. So if you try to get it with an iPhone, you won't be able to access it.
All right, okay. But it's got the full on tournament lock with it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So it's doable. Like being able to do ramping is doable. It's just whether or not people realistically want to do it. I think if we add it into the rule set for probably the July comp, then see how it goes from then, see if people like it. If people bitch, then people bitch, but that's just the way Speedsoft is.
Yeah, I think if we were going to trial it, like if we were going to bring it in, it's very much like up to the community whether or not if we do a comp and it goes well, or if it gets abused or anything like that. It's like very much up to the people who use it, like or based on like if it gets used or the reputation it has. You know, like if people are going to abuse it and just take the mess with it, and it's too much hassle for us.
Yeah, definitely.
They're obviously not going to use it, but if people respect it and they use it well, then I think it could be quite an alright thing.
I'd say it'd probably change scene quite a bit. Yeah, definitely.
Well, if you look back in like the paintball days, that used to be semi-uncapped, and then they brought in the ramping, and the change was drastic. But they enforced ramping across the board, whereas we can't do it in Airsoft. But I definitely think that it's something worth looking at. Like they do 10.5. I think within Speedsoft, I think 15 probably would be a nice number. Kiani, their Gorilla. No, the Gorilla can be on both phones, but the other one, the T238 one or whatever it's called, I've not heard of that one. That's the one that Kean was saying you can only do on an Android phone. On a wheel note, ramping will limit anyone with a fast finger. Yeah, but that's why we're saying as an optional thing, because if we brought it in for everyone, we would have to be able to bring it in for everyone and not just like M4 players or like that kind of stuff. And you can't do it on a pistol. You can't ramp on a pistol. You can't ramp on on a mech.
The only type of pistol I believe what you might be able to ramp on coming soon is the air-tap pistol. Anything else?
Okay. Yeah, because it classes as a pistol, doesn't it?
Yeah. A Kappa, AAP, you won't be able to do anything.
It's basically a newbie starter pack for full auto. I knew he'd be causing shit in this chat, to be honest. What else have we got in this chat at the moment? So Zach doesn't know what ramping is. Kian is getting his SIA badge. He needs to unfold his arms. Escobar Kian.
Just comfy.
Escobar Kian.
Cheers.
Yeah, so there's obviously the first two topics kind of out of the way. Obviously, tournament lock and FCUs, ramping. I think it's probably time that we drop in a fun one. And all three yous know exactly what's coming up here. So obviously, over the weekend we had the SWAT comp. That was on Sunday. Now there was a lot of mixed reviews, should we say, that I've been hearing. There's been good points, bad points. Now, people, obviously, before we get into this, people do need to recognise that this was their first comp within Airsoft. You know, they've got a decent team. I've spoken to them plenty of times. They are quite sound, but from what I'm hearing, they could have done with getting the prep done a lot earlier. But what do you guys think about it?
So, the lack of preparation definitely showed in a way that everything seemed almost like rush put together. I think like communication and stuff like that, it was definitely showing, especially between the marshals. Like we had some players before, and they were speaking to the marshals, and one of them actually ended up being the head marshal in the day, and they were saying that even they're not too sure of the rules. They don't know the rules themselves. Like I also think that the mess about with the rule set was also a little bit annoying. I mean, I can understand it's their first and they're just trying to get things right, but I feel like if they did it well ahead of time, they would have had more than enough time to find any errors or like exploits in the rules. When we got there, so at the top, we were on the 8th edition of the rule set. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, this could have been refined. If there was some sort of thought put into it for a decent time, it could have been just one solid rule set, and it would have been perfect. But lack of preparation was showing. Like the refs' experience as well. Like throughout the day, they gradually started getting more and more better. As I think certain players even giving the refs quite a fair few tips, and it was definitely showing throughout later on in the day. But it's just more of an experience thing. I feel like.
Luke, what do you reckon?
So obviously, where Morgan's highlighted, they had a lot of preparation issues. It was more just down to we were all trying to help them. There was a lot of people in the chats alter this will be an issue, that'll be an issue, and it was every comment was no, you're just moaning. So it then took a lot of us basically saying, well, we're not going to book on to the last minute because there's no teams booking on because nobody likes the rules. Where else have you played that limits the rounds per second on a Speedsoft field? Nowhere. And then it was all a bit very last minute. So me and Simpson were pushing for it, let's get some teams on, advertise it this way, and this way, because there was a few people that didn't know about it. Do all of these things, get people booked on, and we'll go from there. And then on the day, I went over to the owner and I said, look, I know a lot of things get lost in text. Well, I am a twat, but I'm trying not to be. So if you need anything or you want me to point out things that are done at other comps that work better, I will then come to you and you can relay this. So that's what I was doing throughout the day. And as Morgan mentioned, it did get better because I was trying to filter things through Charlie because she did a lot more of the setup than Paul ended up doing. But there was just so many holes. Like there were so many things. Where it's like the refs was just not looking at the field. That's your job. What do you mean you weren't looking? Or I didn't know about this. Like they made a call for a player to be pulled, and instead of pulling him, they just let him play.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? It just didn't make any sense.
Like that happened to our team. One of our players got hit on the shoe. They obviously didn't feel it or whatever, and the ref.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah, I mean the ref tried to radio it in. The radio wasn't working. They said to me, so the ref just basically went, "All right, okay, I'm just gonna watch this happen." So they let the full game through. The game finished. I signed my side of the points because I thought it was all good. I went up to the safe zone, started chilling. Then I got called back down, and first of all, I thought they were trying to take points off us for it, which I did. I nearly had a little bit of a kick off, thinking, "Wait, hang on, we're losing points because of a ref's negligence." Like what? And then Luke, of course, let me know that no, it's just them getting the points. So I was like, right, it's okay, but at the same time, if that player was supposed to be pulled and the radio went down, that ref should have went out of his way to pull that player instead of just letting it carry on, and then basically imaginary kills popping up. You know what I mean? Like it just like if that player was pulled, that could have changed the total outcome of the game. That could have like changed the tides. The other team could have got more points as well. You know. But like watching that zone, they could have wrapped around anything like that. But I just feel like the ref should have been more on the ball with everything. Which, yeah, like it definitely all very lacking experience.
Okay, what do you think? Obviously, you weren't playing on the day. You were there as a retailer, weren't you? So you've seen a whole different side to it.
Yeah. So like all I heard was most of the negative things coming back from teams that were coming back and playing. In regards to the whole system, the points and how it were all planned out, like Morgan said, they had plenty of time to do it. They had plenty of time to advertise, and with the whole like the prizes and everything, they were all messed up on it. It's just I don't know. Overall, for myself, the day it was a good day. Good to see everyone. It was good to have like the usual, but it could have been planned out a whole lot better. Marshals, all I heard was from people like they were stood on the sides, they weren't standing watching the players. Like Morgan said, the radios went down, and they didn't. Like as Morgan said, when a player got hit, instead of just running for the player and pulling off the field, they just left it. But it shouldn't have been done. And organisation, just big lack of it.
Yeah, like it's unfair on the other team. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they know they've seen you've hit them, but then you're just letting them carry on. It's like, all right, okay, so if that happens to me, I'm just going to carry on. You know what I mean? Like nothing's going to happen about it until the end. I just think it was a bit, yeah. It was just, and then especially the refs standing on the very, very outside of the field, like outside the boundaries. It's like some of them were. It was just like a lot of things was getting missed. People were getting away with things which shouldn't have been able to get away with, and it just confused everything for everyone.
I did see a comment a bit down, a bit back, saying some of the refs were supposed to be pro paintball players, what used to ref around the world or play around the world.
All right,
if that's true, then I don't.
They said it was the first Speedsoft game. However, they had played and refed pro paintball all over the world.
So the thing is, for me, is I know people compare it a lot, but there's a lot of things that don't translate. It's far easier to shrug a BB than to wipe paint off you. Yeah. So the self-marshalling is separate. When they're allowing bounce vests in a Speedsoft tournament, there's a lot more opening for, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not being watched, just be like, oh, shit.
That's why we ban.
Oh, look, there's a bird. I was like...
Yeah, that's why we ban a lot of it, though.
100%.
We don't allow padded paintball trousers. We don't allow bounce vests. We only allow certain amounts of layers. If you've got a padded jersey, you're only allowed either, the dry fit tops, either dry fit top or nothing underneath. It's just to minimise layers, because then, there's that whole argument of, oh, sorry, mate, I didn't feel it.
No, you definitely
isn't really valid. If you're getting shot on just a straight jersey, nothing underneath, and you're feeling it. Doesn't matter, but you're feeling it.
That one that Aquila just put in as well, saying while the cameraman had lens in players' faces, I heard about that straight away. Yeah, the cameraman was following players to the bunkers, pretty much giving the position away to the other team. Which
But
is,
they wouldn't let the refs do it.
yeah,
To be fair, though, hopefully, you know, they hear all of the feedback from the players, and the next time round is a completely different kettle of fish. Because supposedly this is number one. Obviously,
Yeah.
that it's a series.
Yeah.
Supposedly, they
Yeah.
haven't announced anything yet, and I haven't heard anything from them either. But
So I'd like to
realistically,
think that
Sorry, go on.
just to cut you there. However, when we all booked on, the owner wasn't best impressed and still wanted to cancel it.
yeah.
So, and I may or may not have had a slight domestic with him in the afternoon. I don't see it going any further personally, but I would be very surprised if they wanted to continue after that.
Yeah, given the feedback that they're getting, I'd be surprised as well. But
It's
we've all got to see this from the other side of the coin as well. That we all want to see
100%.
the scene grow. So if they at least take, I don't know, 50% of this feedback on and listen to it and change it, then, you know, at least it's an improvement, and then they can grow. It's what we were saying with the whole league scenario. If each of the sites grow their own little area, they then have teams playing for them. They've got their own little, you know, customer base. They then travel to us. Our customers travel to them. They all travel between the sites. Everyone wins, and the scene itself grows, which is the ultimate end game for us. That's all we want to see, is the scene to grow, and we'll be happy. Like, so if they can take at least a good majority of the feedback on, listen to it, and think, you know what, shit, like, yeah, we messed up a little bit with this one. You know, here's the changes that we need to put in this time, and listen to more of the players. Because at the end of the day, the players are the ones that are paying the money.
yeah,
It's not
definitely.
the refs. It's not the owner. It's not. It's the exact same way that we see it when we do comps. Like, we don't do what we want to do. We do what we think the players want. We make it as easy as possible for players to get into it, which is part of the reason that confused me. We do deposits. If anyone's in the chat that hasn't competed with us, it's a £50 deposit. You pay the rest on the day in cash or by PayPal. And then it's sweet. Like, 50 quid's realistically in a team of what we allow up to 8. In a team of 8 people, 50 quid's nothing. You know, you all shot it together, and then, you know, you shot it across and you booked your space. Whereas 250 quid off the bat is a touch pricey.
Yeah, a lot of us did say that because they were moaning about that at the time, and I was like, I don't mind paying for it up front, but tax collecting's a pain, and when it's 250 quid, it is a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why a lot of people were waiting to book on, because people have to organise where they're travelling from, where they're booking on. That's another expense. So that could easily be what, £400-500. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I'm poor playing this hobby. I can't do that.
ECS had 2 blowout tyres and everything.
Yeah.
They did cross.
Is that what happened? I seen the video of him getting recovered, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened here?"
And then
they had 2 blowouts.
And then Rush had another blowout as well, and they didn't even make it to the comp. So they've literally just wasted that money.
Yeah.
But like Costa just said, use the bunker rules across the whole UK scene. It'd be probably the smartest thing to do, because they do work.
We offered them.
That's what I brought.
We offered them our rule book. We offered them the SUP AQB rule book, and all. I said to them, any of our rule books that we've used, let us know which one you want to use. I'll send it over. I've got no problem.
Yeah.
It goes for anyone in the UK. If they want to use one of our rule books, I tried and tested. It's, you know, our rule books work.
I think that is what caused a lot of the issues as well, because the way that their points were structured will open for arguments. So if it's kill based, if I see someone not taking it, that's a loss of points on our end. Also, then on top of that, they had a flag snatch rule where if you get the flag, take it a certain distance, you get extra points, but you could get them even if you lose the round. But then if somebody just runs past that, tanks all of that, refs not seeing it, they've got points for like cheating basically. Whereas your way is it's more of your team being present, so you get your points because you're alive, not because you killed someone, in a sense. Yeah. It's just less issues.
Yeah, definitely. I heard something at the start of the day as well. You could eat early break from the bunker.
Yeah, because you lost less points than you would gain from breaking out the bunker early, snatching the
Grabbing
flag.
the flag. Yeah, it's crazy.
Huge.
And we all were like,
fight.
you really need to sort that. I mean, nobody did it, thank
Wait,
God,
so
but all it take is one person.
So
you could early
basically-
break, get
you
the
could
flag
lose
and
10
still have
points. You'd be up 15 points.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're not losing typically.
Yeah.
To set the record straight, Captain, what was SWAT's response? They just didn't use it. I get. I've got nothing against them not using it though, because every site wants to do their own thing, and to be fair, I'm all for it as such. Because how do I know? They might have not used my rulebook, used theirs, and people might have enjoyed theirs more than mine, and then I'd be asking them to use theirs. If the players enjoy whatever rulebook, I don't care. I don't care if it's mine, NSL, SWAT, whoever's. I don't care whose rulebook people enjoy, but whatever people enjoy, I will use.
I only suggest it because of the league thing.
Yeah, it does
Just
make
'cause it's
sense
more
that we
consistent
go
for
under a
everyone.
unified rulebook, but there's a lot of, to be fair, between SWAT and us, we've been sweet. Like, I've got no bad blood with them, but with other sites, there is a lot of toxicity between sites, and there's a whole stop eating on my hand, that kind of shit, and the sorry, Kian, his comments just caught me off guard a bit. The and trying to bring in a unified rulebook where they all use one person's rulebook, it's never going to work unless it's theirs. And if it's dog shit or the best rulebook in the world, like they will always want it to be their rulebook. So you could bringing it in unified across the UK would be difficult, like immensely difficult.
Yeah. I mean, as brutal as it sounds, I'm just going to say it straight up as it is. The issues which they had, and in response to that, the feedback that they've got, arguably they've brought that on themselves. You know what I mean? With that lack of preparation, like going through that rule book, they obviously didn't go through the rule book as enough as they did. Off they did. Someone's missed a lot of things, but the rules were just. This rule seemed very much just like almost like pieced from different places.
Yeah, definitely.
Put into one place, but then not given the full picture. If you get what I mean.
Well, they changed the final on the field.
Didn't they change the
On the
rule
field,
book?
they changed it. I was like, okay.
To change the final.
Yeah, so they had this thing in place where the way it read anyway, all the top 3 teams would play each other. Whoever was the lowest scorer would go to third, and then the top 2 teams would then play each other again for the first and second. But then they just did it where you all played each other twice, and then it was then just the points decided the placement then. But then there was, what else was it? Their time between games as well. Like they were letting people just mess around off the field for ages. And obviously, I know it's not the end of the world, but when you stood there like waiting, just puts you off before you play the game. Like it does not take 10 minutes to load a mag.
Yeah, that could be more so the way that we run it, though. You might just be used to that.
Yeah,
but that's because we're used to high numbers of teams. Like we're used to doing a shitload of games and trying to cram in as many games in as short amount of time as possible. So we have to be dickheads, pretty much. Like we have to be as evil as we can to try and push the games along as quick as we can.
Yeah. Like another thing which I'm going to add, which I did mean to mention earlier, but I completely forgot about it, is the refs' different views on the rules was also a bit of a
that was weird
as well. Like what they tried to give us a penalty for a player who was spamming the trigger, and
we nearly got that.
I asked about 3 or 4 times. I was like, what are you defining as spamming the trigger? I don't know what you're meaning. Some of them were saying he was doing that.
So feathering.
With one hand on the other, like, is that what you class as spamming? Right, well, he wasn't doing that. You know what I mean? Like, he was just, people just bounce the trigger, they just vibrate the hand round, but still got the full grip. It's vibrating. That's what he was doing. And they tried to do was for spamming, and I confronted them about it, and it also seemed like they weren't ready for the confrontation from players.
No.
So I confronted them on stuff, and I raised very valid points. They'd go away for five odd minutes or whatever, and they'd come back and they'd be like, right, we're now taking that penalty away, yada yada yada, and then improve it for next time. It's just like it was almost like they were just adjusting things on the fly. You know, it was just yeah. And then there was the scoring as well. The refs weren't keeping track of how many plays were coming off. Like there were so many times where I had to go up and be like, no, we killed a player in that game. They were stood talking to us by our home base where they weren't supposed to be, but they were talking to us there. And thankfully, the other teams were honest enough to come forward and like comply with it, you know. But it's like I just feel like I don't know. It just didn't seem very prepared, and that sort of like disappointed me with the whole event. The day was amazing, but it's just like the rules and the refs, like communication with each other, were just lacking so much.
Well, I did see when I was at the booth, Manchester Swarm must have played a game, and they were supposed to stay on the field to see the final. I don't know what happened. Maybe they had to go back and have a talk. Something like 5 minutes delayed. Then they got called back down. So there were like big delays within everything.
See,
Yeah.
stuff like that is more of an admin side thing, which is just experience.
Mhm.
You know, like not getting the teams to do timings and all that. The reffing part, like not knowing the rules and all that kind of stuff, like all of them being on a different view is a bit bad. But like there is a lot of, from what I see, just experience issues. A lot of it is experience. Some of it could have been dealt with in prep easily.
Mhm.
Like Morgan knows, like I've started prep for the July comp already.
Yeah, you've long started it.
Yeah,
miles
we've got the
ago.
layout already sorted. We already know that the rule book's already done. Like everything's sorted, but like that's because we've done this a fair few times now. Like I've been organising events for a few years now. Because I was doing it before I even had Bunker. But like I said, but I remember the first one that we did, like the first ever event that we did was the Kill House event back in like 2-3 years ago, something like that. And that wasn't a comp or anything; it was just an event, and we were fucking all over the place compared to what we are now. So I think a bit more experience, listening to the players, and maybe like the next event that they do, like should be a lot better if they decide to do it again. And to be fair, I genuinely hope they do.
No, I'm hoping for that as well. Like, obviously, I know I didn't leave on good terms, but it's another site at another location in the country. Obviously, it's better for everyone.
Yeah.
But I do think
the more places we can, get together and shoot little white balls at each other, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, I do think that it's definitely a case of they need to see that we aren't just complaining for the fuck of it. Well, most of us aren't complaining for the fuck of it. We all want it just to be better.
Mm-hmm. We're only trying to implement everyone's like input to make their life easier as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't want to complain every fucking round about this and that. Like it's a waste of my time.
Aquila. Who's this Aquila Airsoft, by the way? Oh, Aquila? Anyone know?
No, I'm not too sure.
No.
Still up north, get someone down south. We've been speaking to places all over the country.
Wasn't VPR supposed to be opening something down?
They're not now. We're going to, but the plans have changed for it. And then I was just running events for Mayhem, which, to be fair, is definitely south.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're on about doing any kind of comps or anything. They haven't spoke to us about that. But obviously they've been doing the training sessions, which, to be fair, if you're down there and you haven't done this before, head down to, have a go of it. Get a bit of a taste for it, get addicted like all four of us have done.
Yeah.
Do a Kian and eat shit.
Yeah, do a Kian, eat shit on the corner.
You can score.
Yeah, it's like John. Okay, it's one of your lads, Luke.
No, of course it is. Fucking posh twat.
Posh twat. It's like Kian was saying about me being a team hall with all the jerseys, but he doesn't realise that jersey there, the SOT one, is probably, how old do you reckon that is now, Morgan? About 4 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I've still got mine in the cupboard.
Yeah, that's 4 years old. Then you've got the Speed Reaper one, my Venga Boys one, which is the bad boy. I've got 2 Rush ones in there. I've got 2 Spectrum ones in there. And I've got another SOT one, which is at District. Yo, that's crazy. I wish Joe's in this chat now. He'd be going mad. Wait, who's LRJ Airsoft? LRJ. Who's LRJ? Anyone know?
Not too sure.
We'll end up putting a message in there anyway.
But
So
anyway, bringing it sort of like back to topic, what Hicks was just saying about there, like you don't want to complain after every single round. Like for me personally, it was the same as well. Like coming from a ref standpoint, like it is almost like it's a part of the job, but it can be a little bit like almost like overwhelming when you're getting like two different teams arguing different points. You're trying to do your job, get the next game on, do all sorts. Like I shouldn't have to argue with you or discuss points with you. That is something which is so easily done. Like the ref on the other Stargate, just count how many players are coming off. Just count them. You know, radio back to each other. But
again, on the other side of the coin, though, like people need to understand how difficult of a job it is to ref.
Yeah.
And I've said this before. I said this in the first episode, I think, and I say this to everyone that I meet. And Kian, I said it to you, and you guys learned the other weekend, didn't you? It's like reffing. It ain't easy. Like genuinely, it's not easy.
Yeah,
dealing with the general public in any capacity isn't easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't walk out.
But when you're dealing with 10 people on the field, all filled with adrenaline and in that competition mindset, and what I say is right and all that kind of bullshit, then like it's a whole different kettle of fish. Like obviously, Kosher will agree with me here. Like we're about to run like ref clinics, and trying to build up like our bank of refs a bit better, so we can have more people to call on and stuff like that. Seriously, anyone come to them, even if you don't want to be a ref, just come and experience it. And you'll see the completely different side to it. And I think Kian, you'll probably agree with me here. Once you've done it once, you get a completely different feel for it.
Yeah,
you go, do you know what? Fair enough. Like it's fucking hard to do.
Yeah. Like you are the number one hated person on that.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Like
I say to anyone when they go, oh yeah, I'm booking onto your comp and all this kind of stuff, and I'll go, word of pre-warning, I am a dickhead on a comp day. Don't come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And they go, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, I'm not allowed to be nice. Like, I'm not allowed to give you tips. I'm not allowed to help you out. I can't go, oh, yeah, that was a good job there. Because it's all biased. Like, the moment you say one thing, the other team goes, he's a fucking knobhead. He's biased. He's this, he's whatever.
Yeah.
So you've got to be such a dickhead to people on comp days. Like, I think, Luke, I've probably came at you before. Like, everyone in the Speedsoft scene, if they've ever came up to me, I've had to be a dick to. Like, when we're on a comp day, it's just, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
I'd say you've been abrupt, but then I feel like it depends on the person. I've got like a level of understanding for it. That's why I quite enjoyed at the training when I did a little bit of reffing. It's like you said, you get that level of understanding.
Yeah.
Cal brings a good point. Just on comp days, dickhead anyway.
I remember it, Cal. Don't remember. Don't worry. I'll shoot you for that.
You'd be like, I want this from shop. No, fuck off. Go get yourself down to BZ.
Yeah. But again,
definitely need to understand it, isn't it?
Yeah, reffing as well. You have so much fun as well. Like on the last bunker comp, me and Luke, we were literally racing and quick drawing for our flags on who could pull the player first for an early break. Yeah,
I feel sorry for the lad, but Max from PSB, right? I'll call it out because it was funny. So he completely new to the scene. It was the first comp, so like it was a really easy mistake to make. It was technically an early breakout. So he had his hand on the bunker, and everything was spot on. Like, but his gun was in front of him. He was holding his gun in front of him. His hand was on the bunker, and everyone who's competed, you have to have your bunker. You're going towards the start gate. You either has to be hovering within millimeters or on that start gate, otherwise it's an early break. And he had his gun sat in front of him and his hand on the bunker. So he somewhat knew what he was doing. Like he knew that he was meant to be starting that way and so on, but just got it slightly wrong. It happens. If it's never happened to me, I'd probably be lying. And it's probably happened at some point. Yeah. I don't remember, but it would have happened. And I could see Morgan was sat watching him, and I was watching him as well. I was like, here we go. Because I was like, this is just a bit of fun between the refs. And he broke out. Morgan flung his flag, and I was like, fuck, he's beat me to it. But then he decks himself. He slips over, eats shit, and I'm like, get in, I've got him. So I went over and pulled him instead. And we keep torturing each other about it still to this day. It's like, yeah, I beat you to him. But just a bit of fun between the refs.
Yeah.
Were you having a competition on who could throw the wrong amount of red flags as well? That confused the fuck out of me so many times. I was like, Am I getting pulled?
So many flags were getting pulled on that day.
Yeah.
Oh my! Like, just saying though, everyone just follow the rules. That's all I'm saying. But no,
I
like
definitely like the whole flags though. The flags have got to
yeah.
stay.
I was about
Yeah,
to
that's
say,
like
people. Do people enjoy the flags? Because I feel like it makes it more fun for the audience. Because they see a flag, if it's a red one, everyone goes like, "Ooh, what's happened?"
The amount of times that I've flung a flag, or like I seen a flag going all the queues. Oh, that was a red. Oh, that was. Oh, what's going on here? It's a bit of spectatorship, isn't it? People like it.
Yeah.
You'd be up there with a red flag throwing. Morgan eating shit. Yeah, just like you did, Kian, Mayhem. It's somewhat disagree. My first comp, you took the time to explain some points, seemed very nice.
Rim job.
I'll take the compliment. I don't normally get compliments from comp days.
You want to put right side at bed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He's got his leg over last night, didn't he? But yeah, so obviously that leads into the next kind of topic, which is the upcoming D23 comp. Kian, are we going to see you again? You're going to set up a stall again?
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back bigger. So gradually we're slowly getting bigger, products wise, and there's some new stuff coming from Ubisoft as well. I just found out today. I can't really say much, but hopefully we'll have it on that comp day. And I believe if AirTac get them out to us in time for the 28th of July, we'll be selling the AirTac pistols there, just at the comp online, just dedicated to the comp. So we'll have 3 there on the day.
He's going to cost me some fucking money, this guy.
Someone's going to walk away from that ball.
I think Luke's going to end up with a divorce. Like,
Stacey's going to kill me, you know.
yep.
But no, yeah, it'd be good to see you again there. Like, obviously we've had you at the bunker one, we had you at the first district one.
Yeah.
Then we need to figure out something a bit more permanent for vendors at district. I think leave that with me over the next few weeks, and I'll figure something out. I'll figure somewhere to start putting vendors. Because I definitely think that vendors need to have a bit more, more to do as such with like with incomps and stuff like that. You know, they need to get more involved and stuff like that. Start seeing more players.
It's just more handy. Because like when I play, well, before I set the whole business up, and when I was playing, say gun goes down, and you've got no springs on the day, it's handy to have a vendor there. What will have the springs, and you can fix it instantly instead of sitting out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, or just get them to build you a full gun whilst we're playing.
Exactly.
That's what I did yesterday.
We've got Key in there as a good vendor. Kiani, they're going to 3D print a whole ass table. Kiani, message me if you want to come up, you know, bring a few bits and bobs and stuff like that. I've got no issue with it. Keen will tell you. As long as it supports the scene, that's all I give a damn about. We don't charge you. We don't do anything like that. All we ask is that it's something that's within the UK and something that supports the scene.
It just helps grow it all, really.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll say this all the time. The pie is big enough for us all to have a slice of. As long as we all help to bake the pie. You know, like if we all sit here and we grow it and stuff like that, then, you know, then it's going to be there for us all. Simple. But yeah, D23 come 28th of July, that'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to this one because the prep that's gone into it and some of the plans that we're going to try and pull off on this one is, again, improving on the last time and improving. Because we've got much more that we can do with District compared to what we could do at Bunker. You know, we've got a solid power supply. It's all indoors. It's not weather dependent. We can start setting up weeks in advance rather than the night before.
We've got a fill station that won't freeze itself.
There is that. You don't have to sit there with a kettle when it's in the winter.
Yeah. You don't
like,
get rained on.
Yeah.
That's another good thing.
So like it's just a lot better. I like having prize out of every team. SOT recruiting when Kiani, there's no spot for you, Matt.
Full roster.
A sticker stand, Cal. Feel free. So just like anyone's game too. As long as you bring yourself a table, because I ain't got no tables left. Bring a table. You know, 50 quid in Costco. You know, for a nice pop up table or B&Q. And bring it along. I've got no issue with it. Just make sure you message me. Just don't just rock up. looking forward to seeing the layout. Yeah,
Luke,
the
you
layout's
are
going to be good.
genuinely the only person who has seen this layout, and like, you've been a knobhead with it. I know for a fact you have. There's going to be like,
No, it's quite a nice layout.
Is it a nice one?
Yeah, I like it. The worst thing is I've got it on paper and all that kind of stuff, but I can't put it out yet because if I put it out, I know what you're like, you dickhead. You'll walk up and have a look.
Yeah.
I might just lock the doors at District.
Hey, I mean, I do work there, so it's almost like.
Yeah, I might just like deadlock the doors at District, put the layout out, have a little gander and all that, and then put it back so you never know what it was.
You've probably already done it.
Not yet, but I'm definitely debating it. Let's move on to the next one, which, to be fair, is kind of a little bit of a touchy subject. The Arc 1.
Oh God.
Some people like, some people don't. I had a go of it on the last Bunker Comp, and because you brought one, didn't you, Kian? And
Yeah,
brutally honest, don't like it.
none of us. Never do that.
Not for me.
Just the whole, like, to know that it took 11 years in the making.
Is that
to
how
go
long it
background.
took?
Yeah, the patent were 11 years, yeah. That's what I found out. And after having one myself and being offered to stock, no, I don't think it leaves people speechless, to be honest with you, mate. Even when you let the owner know about the problems, it just doesn't seem right interested to help.
It's a shame though, because it is a good-looking gun though. I think
yeah,
like
yeah.
it looks nice, looks lovely.
Yeah, they look phenomenal. But performance, no. I mean, myself, I played one game day at Invicta the first time I went in. I shot one BB. It was okay. The next one, split the bucking clean in half. The hop units, I've just heard yesterday the hop unit got recalled.
Yeah, I've heard something about this. Kyle's waiting for parts or something, isn't he, from High Kappa Hub?
Yeah, and then a lot of people had problems with the ASA as well, breaking.
Yeah. I saw it firsthand at NSL as well.
Wasn't the ASA the whole thing with it only likes ninja regs or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only Ninja and HK Army, which they didn't tell anyone.
I didn't think it'd make much of a difference. I thought it's all like a standard thread. Like, why is there a difference? Like, does anyone know?
Yeah, but it's like that with anything in Airsoft, isn't it? It'll be a QC thing. So yes, all the threads should be the same, but a miller difference here, miller difference there.
Different tolerance.
That's all it takes. You know, metal flakes and dirty air. It's like they said, it's because they don't seem interested in helping anyone. Like the issues that are there, it's your fault. You've not checked any other regs but the ones you like using. Whoop-de-doo, there's a whole global market of people using any kind of different reg. It's nice that you get a full pack of O-rings. Should I be using it the first game day I take it out? No. Like, now I've got it working. Now I've got the trigger set nicely. I prefer mechanical. Hate batteries. Hate FCUs. So it's nice. Just plug the tank in and fucking go. The ASA, when it works, just depressurizing like that. Really good feature.
The trigger mechanism as well.
Again, hops, crap. I'm not a fan. You're getting dipping, double feeds. I don't know if that's also down to the slight leak I've got. Could be. But it's just a weird one.
Speaking of threads as well, have you guys seen that Cross Airsoft Design cards? They've released a replacement thread set for the Storm On tank, the OG ones.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. And then, as Jake's saying here, like quality control at the minute's a bit funky. Like I got a Category 5 reg, and the first day, took it apart, went to go put an ESG, took the gauge off, tried to put it back on. Hang on a minute, this isn't lining up. So I measured the threads and all sorts, and the threads were just completely off. It was absolutely, like, the threads almost seemed too big for the actual reg, and they've obviously, it seems like it's also just like forced together. But yeah, like that's just on from like the different tolerances and stuff. Like it is a big issue.
A lot of QC since the start of last year to now present has gone down massively. I think it's just rushed production times.
Yeah, Yeah, because we were under a lot of pressure to get them out, though, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
The nice guns, like I said, nice guns are just. You've got BZ absolutely ranting and raving over them at the moment as well, going, "Oh, look what we've done for Speedsofters and stuff." And it's like Speedsofters really don't want stuff like that. Not in the competitive world, anyways, because we've seen them go down that often. We've seen that much issue with them. Like, yes, they're nice looking guns, but it's just a mantelpiece kind of item, isn't it? Because it ain't going to work all the time. Like, you need something that's reliable, especially on a comp field as well.
Yeah.
If they dial it in, if they sort the problems out, if they're clear and actually start helping people, it would be a viable option for people
100%.
that like. But as of right now, not a chance.
So, are you currently only using the Arc at the moment, or are you still dipping between?
I go from what I feel like on the day. Like sometimes, like right, this position's not working. Sack that gun off. I'm going to use something else. But yeah, it's a it's a mix of parts at the minute. It's not my ASA that's on it because my mate's trigger mate's gone down, so I've nicked his parts to get mine working. But at the minute,
when you spend that
F2 solid.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
F2.
My build was what? Cheap as fuck, £700 maybe, and it works better. And that's what, £600 difference.
Well,
something like that. No, more even. More even.
Right now, we're selling them at £1,600.
Ouch.
I'm looking at the BZ website now. £1,600.
There was a guy yesterday, one of the Manchester Swarm players, and he was so desperately trying to get rid of his Arc. It was, well, he was going to swap it for a Kappa. Then he came over to the stand and he was like, "Can I swap it for an F2?" But bear in mind, an F2 is £430, the Arc £1,600. And I was just like, I'll be honest, you'd have to pay me to take the Arc. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, they're just off topic, but they're just so bad.
Like J Couch and Monk Adapter.
Non-existent.
That's honestly the first time I've seen anything like that happen.
Luke, did you see what happened?
Mm-mm.
So you know the valve bit that clips on your hose?
Yeah.
That whole thing just came out, stripped the whole threads, everything.
Blow it out with the air.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I've heard about Monk's threads in regards to screws, but that's ridiculous.
You could just put the valve in and out, just the threads are gone. Like, completely
you picked
gone.
up the fitting and the threads were still in the threads of the
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I think, was it an alley grip as well?
No, it
No,
was
Or was it the normal?
Yeah. It just got an alley gripping replacement as like a which is good.
Yeah, at least yeah. But I was only running 90. Ooh.
So at any point, my Kappa valve could just stab me on the field. Great, can't wait.
We'll go on to the next topic, which should lighten things up a little bit, anyways. Some people might have seen we had BZ Fest over the weekend. It was over on Saturday. It was wicked. Me and Morgan, we were both there. We enjoyed it. Had a good laugh and all that. Don't know how many different people I spoke to that day. And it was wicked, but do you reckon that there's any way that we could do, obviously not as the same kind of either scale or same thing, but could we do something similar for Speedsoft? Like, that would be pretty cool, I think.
So what was it exactly?
It was just basically BZ opened up the shop, did 10% off the shop all day. Had loads of vendors and like different sites and stuff in stalls around like the back end of it. Had the target range open and all that. Just like a big open day. Big like social get together. Everyone that came, it was free entry and stuff. It was cool. There was a lot of people there.
You could do that at D23 if you took all the bunkers out and put them somewhere. You could have all your vendors in there.
Yeah,
you could put a range or something up.
We could take over
in the arena.
And put all the stalls.
Not with the weather up there, you bloody can't.
Hey, it's mint up here at the moment.
The amount of people that we've got.
I think so. Because there's quite a few vendors really that it would be worth doing it for. It'd be good for like the smaller businesses as well, I think.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get quite a few vendors to come.
Morgan stepped up.
Well, hopefully more vendors would pop up because, like, for the likes of myself, I can't stock everything. But like more I can do most, but we're aiming towards the Speedsoft route mainly, because for myself, certain stuff like the Ubisoft belts, I found it hard to get belts when I were playing, and I thought, right, everyone needs belts, so we've gone down the belt route, air tap bits and bobs as well. Just stuff really what you can't get, which would be good.
So it's definitely a possibility. It's something that we could look at. It's just whether or not the players want it. A bit of open day. Open up the fields. Everyone can have a little play completely free. Just bring everyone down. Everyone can have a bit of banter with each other. Maybe put a barbecue on. Just like an open day kind of get together. Because when we were doing the BZ Fest, it was good. Everyone was having a laugh. Everyone was just joking around with each other and stuff. Like Morgan will agree with me. It was a good vibe. It was a really good vibe.
You could even run it alongside like the comps and stuff, because obviously some people travel up the day before.
Yeah. Like
do you mean like do the Saturdays like an open and get together and then do the Sundays series comp kind of thing?
You could. What I was going to say before I got cut off there for a minute, before my connection drops, we could almost do it like, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but PB America, do like these draft comps. You could almost do something like that, almost like more event for fun that doesn't really matter, but instead have like a fun time and tie vendors in with that, like what you've just said, like a 2-day thing, like a comp or whatever the day before, and the next day, or the other way around.
Yeah,
I think good.
Yeah, that would definitely work. Yeah, I think it's definitely something we can look at. Let's have a look. What else have we got on here? We've done that one. And layouts. Do we like having a different layout in each comp, or do people like having a single layout for throughout the year, the same way that NSL does it? Kian, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm either or, really.
Yeah.
I think it's good for some people because some teams work better on certain layouts. So it could be their layout, they've won this comp and played better on it because they know how to play that style. Or, as I mentioned, I quite like SWAT's layout, but it definitely catered to more aggressive teams because just the way that the cover was laid out. But then if it was the same layout all year, like you get used to it, you drill things in, like, right, we need to take this part of the field because it's more important, so you can like discuss your tactics through the year. I'm easy, but it's definitely something worth looking at.
Personally, I like to switch things up a little bit each time. It's nice to have a refresh on a new layout. But then again, playing on the same layout, like Luke said, it's once it's dialed in your memory, you can just step on the field pretty much and just be like, yeah, this is going to happen on here. Like, your role's already set then to what you're wanting to do. Unless you go the day before for the training on the current layout. It's just one of the things, really. It's all down to public and what everyone else prefers.
Like, my views on it are, I very much like the idea of keeping layouts the same, because then people get used to it, get time to actually play and have experience. But at the same time, having one layout for the whole year, I feel like is just, I don't like it. You could just get very safe on your team. What Luke said, if you're not good at that layout, you know what I mean? You're sort of screwed for the whole year then. So, but I think maybe like almost using one layout for almost like a certain bit of the like so long, like half a year. Then like I'll like do 2 comps on one layout, then the next 2 comps on a different layout, something like that. I think
what about on the same breath? What about blind layouts? Which is, if people don't know what a blind layout is, all that is where you find out the day of the comp.
Yeah.
You rock up, you then see the layout and you think, oh shit, or you think sound.
I do quite like
again, I'm easy.
Yeah.
I like the little pre-prep. It's part of the night before and all of that shit. But, it's like ADHD's just said in the chat. It proves what team switched on, communicates well, could turn up to any field and just play, not just, we've played this field 1,000 times, we play it the same way every time.
Comes back to the whole field IQ thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can either play
100%.
or you can't play. It's not you can play that field, it's you can play or you can't play.
Yeah.
And an answer to Jake there, for the 28th, will there be a field walk the day before? Yeah. There is also very, very soon they will be getting some time slots released. So basically what we're doing for this comp is the day before there will be 1 hour time slots for training. They're all a very simple £50 per hour. And no single team is allowed to book up more than 2. So the training slots are going to be from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. the day before. And you can book any 2-hour training slots. But like I said, no single team is going to be allowed to book more than 2. Now, through the week, you can book up training slots and stuff like that, and the week before you can. But on the day before the comp, there is going to be single 1 hour time slots coming through. And more deals of that will be coming out in the next probably week or 2.
Yeah.
That sounds fair. Sounds
Sounds
good.
good. That.
It's the best way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not going to be, oh, by the way, they're now released. It's going to be, they're going to be released on this date. I'm going to ignore anyone's messages who ask me for a training slot. They're just going to get blanked.
I'm guessing that's going to be on the field layout then.
Yeah, that'll be on the field layout.
Right, sweet, yeah.
So the field layout, like how we do it all the time, the rule book will drop 3 weeks before the event, and the layout will drop exactly 2 weeks before the event. And then as soon as the field layout's dropped, the layout of district will get changed to that layout for them 2 weeks. So if you want to train on the layout, feel free. The day before, like I said, them 1 hour training slots will be all on that layout. The only thing is, if you come in the day before, you're just going to see us wandering around, just setting up the last little few bits and bobs. But you're more than welcome to use the field, and you'll have unrestricted access to the field. And there is also going to be one little thing that's a bit different to anyone, I think. If you do have a training slot booked with us for the day before, no one is allowed to spectate on the training slots to stop people from watching what you're doing. So say if you book, say Luke books 9 a.m. and the 10 a.m., then let's say Kian books the 11 and the 12. Kian will not be allowed into the arena space until 11 o'clock. That's just stop teams from going up, and because obviously if no one's competed at District 23, then we have raised viewing areas where you can see the whole field. So quite easily teams could come in 15 minutes early and sneak in and have a little watch of what people are training and what they're doing. We're stopping all of that.
Yeah,
so that will not be allowed.
It was the same at NSL.
Exactly.
So, like anyone could just walk in and just see what you're doing. It's like, like crap. Like now we've got to be a bit cautious on what call outs we're using, like what we're doing. It's just an added stress which you don't need the day before a comp.
Yeah, most definitely. It's like when we went first time we went round, we had play doctors on the top watching us. And like Morgan said, it just added a lot more stress and thinking.
That won't be allowed on our training sessions.
Just don't have a plan. Just make it up. Problem solved.
Yeah. How long before the comp will be set up? Exactly 2 weeks before. So the comp is on the 28th of July. So on the 15th of July, that layout will be in district.
Times.
Book a 3-man when? Soon. Don't worry. Data getting released soon.
You know, screw it, do a 10-man.
I mean, I would. If there was enough people to do it, I would.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a 10-man. It'd be carnage.
He's like really wanting to get run down on Snake.
Every bunker. People are going to be triple stacking bunkers.
There's 4 on the home, 4 on the home. No, mate, imagine.
It could be carnage.
Imagine hearing 10 guns off break on each side. It'd be carnage. Chaos.
Guarantee now we get complaints from the houses across the road. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
How many marshals have you got? For a 5-man, we typically run with 10, plus we have 2 in the com box as well. That is the plan for the 28th. So we technically have like 12 marshals. How many marshals are you? And then if you're on about like the 10 on 10, we'd be insane. We'd need like 22 marshals. Yeah. We need no chance. Be funny though. I'd love to do it as just a shits and gigs comp.
Yeah.
You know, just for a laugh, like sack it. We'll just have a bit of fun with it. Open up the CQB at the same time.
We have tried it with a regular walk on as well. We have done a 15 aside on that.
10 on 10 is the very max before it starts to get a little bit.
Yeah.
Not trying to test your patience, just curious at all. No,
Oof,
no one's testing my
that's
patience.
what wouldn't have that.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was the dig towards that, but I was trying to
Yeah.
stay away from it.
It was.
10 snake runners, 32
Right.
people on the field. Fuck that. Yeah, we'll cross into the next one then. So obviously we'll go into the back on. So Kian, if you want to go first, like how was it that you got into, say, like the Speedsoft side of it, and then varied from there into becoming a retailer, and what made you decide to go down that route?
Yeah, so I got into Speedsoft because I went on a stag do, which was my brother's friends, to play paintball, and I loved it from there on. But I played it with the ones where you typically see them in like a shopping centre trying to hand out like leaflets, come play the paintball event. So when I went, well, it was a great day apart from spending £140 on one box of paint.
Jesus.
So yeah, it was an
All
expensive day. Yeah, it was an expensive day, but I wanted to go away and still play something similar or play paintball. So I took a grasp into Airsoft and we started at Killhouse. And then I met some of the team members that we had. So we got Ethan, Connor, Ellis, and a couple of other guys. And we just formed a team to go to Skirmish, one of the first Skirmish events. And the whole morning we got rumbled. It was an absolute shocking morning. And then we were like, all right, after this, we'll just give up on it. Like, but then in the afternoon, everything turned around. We had a great afternoon, and then we got poached by Sal and from Rush, and we joined Rush. And then so we all did his own thing with Rush and everything, and then we took a step aside to that, made our own team because we've seen teams dropping out of the UK, forming with other teams, and then it was like the UK scene were getting less and less teams, where it should be getting more and more teams to keep the whole UK scene growing. So we dropped from Rush into our own team for the UK to obviously compete against and have more teams. And then since then we've just loved playing with each other, and like it's just been, I'd say we're gradually getting better as well as a team. We're just ideally setting in stone this year as we are gaining positions and where we like to play, but and comms and just dialing everything in as a team. And then hopefully maybe next year we're going to go out and compete in the likes like Poland, France, give Spain a go because I've always got Ubisoft Damio in my ear asking to come and play in Spain. But yeah, man, we're just hopefully going on to bigger things next year, and we're going to dip our toes as well into paintball. So we're just
So what then made you transition into becoming a retailer then?
so becoming a retailer. It's just like I said before. I found it hard to get certain parts and products, and in the UK, and I thought, well, if I'm finding it hard, for instance, then Morgan and Luke's finding it hard in yourself. It's like and import costs as well. Like say you wanted a Ubisoft belt, yeah, you're paying the price as Ubisoft belt 120, then you got your 35. So you're importing to the UK, you got to pay over import fees, shipping fees, everything. I thought, well, we'll cut all that out, and hopefully I might be able to get them. So I just woke up and I'm like, right, I'll get it all done. Try to get it set in stone. I messaged Dammy over because I've previously been over to his manufacturing warehouse and seen it all. So I was speaking to him, and then I managed to secure the deal with himself for the Ubisoft products, get all them over. But it's just pretty much I'm just trying to cover the things that we can't get or we don't have yet in the UK. To give back to the for the players what's struggling to get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And you've already kind of touched on it a little bit there, but obviously between say Speed Cartel and also like Airsoft Essentials, what are your let's say what are your next 6 to 12 months kind of plans or vision of where you want to see?
So for the playing side of it, trying to get I'm just getting the lads set in stone between the next 6 months, leading up until next year. Seeing who likes to play what, who plays well with each other, and what needs changing. Getting comms dialed in because we do need work with comms, but it'll get there. Paintball is coming for the guys as well on our team.
Hashtag paintball is coming.
Yeah, paintball is coming. So we'll see all the paintball players out there as well on the field. We're just getting sorted with all that. But in regards to the retail side of it, we're trying to make moves with so these new products coming from Ubisoft, so we'll be stocking them as soon as they drop. You got the air tap pistols and whatnot coming in as well. We're just trying to expand as much as we can for Speedsoft, because for myself, I don't think there's enough shops that carry Speedsoft equipment.
No,
Um,
you're definitely right, to
I
be
mean,
fair.
you've got High Kappa Hub, but that's mainly your High Kappas, your HPA kits. Yeah, he's got your engines and stuff, but it's more like those. I mean, he's got speed triggers and he's got the other bits and bobs, but I'm trying to cover the parts that he's not covering.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
just all the different stuff really. But
All
then again,
all
if I
the
can
annoying stuff.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. All the stuff that you can't find in other shops or what's always sold out.
Yeah.
It's always good to have.
And then on to you, Luke. I have no idea what Luke is doing.
Just give me a moment.
Morgan, but we'll go to you. Obviously, we've been what got you into Speedsoft and into that kind of end.
Well, what got me into Speedsoft was you, Luke. So I got picked up with SOT when they were literally just coming out of their milk and were coming to more like the speed sim type of thing. Like everybody's wearing like more or less like battle belts. They started moving over to HBA and stuff.
Oh, that was before jerseys were a thing, wasn't it?
George special T-shirts as well.
I was going to say I thought I still had one up there, but I don't.
I've still got my hoodies somewhere. I've got 2 hoodies somewhere. But yeah, like you pretty much got me into Speedsoft. We did the day at PPK with Legion and Speed Reapers. That was quite good, and then it just sort of went from there.
And then for obviously the same question to you that I gave to Kian there. So say for the next 6 months, 12 months, where do you see yourself, and or is it still within SOT, or do you see SOT going further, or?
I definitely want to grow SOT. Like one of the main reasons why I went over is because I feel like I want to grow it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we need more higher quality teams than like show teams or some teams which are more dominating than others. You know what I mean? I feel like we need more competition where teams can have like active competition against each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like coming back to SOT and giving them like information, like experiences and knowledge which I've had. Like I've trained with the likes of Legion. I've went over to NSL, played there, trained like Honey Badgers, stuff like teams like that. I've played against lots of teams, like got lots of field IQ and whatnot, which I feel like I can give to the lads, and we can just overall grow that team and hopefully make something quite good of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then Luke,
I'm back in the
was it
room
that
now.
got you into Speedsoft and into that kind of area of it?
It was sort of a happy.
Should we say?
It was sort of a happy accident. So obviously, most of you will know Harrison from TSR. He was helping Skirmish out with their comp, and he was like, "We need teams for intro division. Do you fancy it?" And we were like, "Yeah, it'll be a laugh, won't it? Why not? Just put your name down." Because we're all mates, so we've always played together a lot. So we had that chemistry. We all play relatively fast anyway, so just thought it'd be a decent day. We ended up coming away with the win on that. So we were like, right, let's go and play some proper teams and see how we do. But that was it. Hooked straight away. I was like, this is so much better.
I've just clocked Kieran's comment there. Kieran, please stop.
But I'm a bit like that with anything I do. Like if I can do it and I can do it to a decent standard, I want to keep improving and just keep learning new things and play at the higher level. Because otherwise, you like start to get fizzle out. There's only so many times you can go to a skirmish and shoot a rental before it gets boring.
Yeah,
it's like even now after competing for so long, and then you go back and do like a CQB day or something like that. It's like 10, 15 minutes.
It's been rough at the minute.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes like working at the site district as well. Sometimes you get a day off. You're like, right, screw it. I'll just jump in with the skirmish slot, and you have a game or two, and you have a good laugh. It's like it's just not the same, Like you just find it boring.
Yeah,
you have to like switch off a bit. Like
it's like it's just like because you don't want to push too hard. It's just not the same. It just feels wrong,
Yeah, and then same question to you as well, Lou. Say the next 6 to 12 months, where is it that you see yourself and see Flashbang and all that kind of stuff? Any plans of abroad?
So we're working on a lot of things at the minute. We're just trying to dial a couple of things in as a team because we've had some newer players, some people that have not had as much field time as others. So we want to see where we're at UK wise for now before we even consider going elsewhere. As much as I'd love to see Camo and Sega's at NSL.
It's happened before, not at NSL, obviously, when it used to be Speaky B. There used to be a team that used to go over in all camo.
Tell you what, and last year at NSL, there was one of the Plague Doctors players playing with a shotgun.
Sugar Rush. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard somewhere that they didn't allow it at some point. I don't know how that works now, but yeah, I mean, that's what we all started. We all wanted to just play for a bit of fun. You know, it's that growth as a team now where it's like, we want to take this seriously a little bit more.
Was it that moment when you were at skirmish, I was like, oh shit, this actually might work? Is that when it clicked? I was like, actually, I don't mind this.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been against any play style, even when we were quote unquote more milsim. Obviously, it's not the most popular scene to be in. But yeah, it's just like the thing is, I've always said is you've got things to learn from both sides. Like,
Yeah,
no any one side is necessarily better than the other. Speedsoft is a little bit more effective at a general skirmish, but there are things to take. I feel like it gets lost a lot. People forget we're all shooting toy guns at each other, so we're all autistic as fuck.
Yeah.
just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. I say you're going onto a field, there's 5 other guys on there running around with toy guns with little plastic balls. Don't take it too serious, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's easy. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. Who gives a damn? Like, just as long as you enjoyed it. Have a bit of fun with it.
I will be back in just 2 seconds. I'm just going to quickly go for a quick toilet break and I'll be back. So, I'll be back.
So obviously, with you being between the two, do you get a lot more hate for being kind of the mill speed? Like, because you're technically getting, attacked from
Hate
2
from
different
everyone.
angles with milsim and with Speedsoft.
So, like I was obviously brought up the skirmish comment earlier, it puts me in a really difficult spot. So I conducted a social experiment at Bradford the 2 times we've played. So I went in normal kit, bar the full face, played relatively normal-ish, I would suppose. Had no problems all day. Then we went back. We all went in jerseys. Oh my god, we got called out in the brief. We were getting treated differently all day until it then ended up being the milsim team that was causing all the problems. And I was like, oh, that's funny. That we don't have to reload. I thought we were the ones with the fire rate problem. But it's definitely an unusual spot. I know Simpson hates every bit of kit that I own. As an example for the Speedsoft side that doesn't enjoy it, but it's stand out, isn't it?
Sega. I love and hate it at the same time.
The amount of
shouldn't work,
shit
but it does.
Ash gave me for that. Every breakout, he's like, "Will you put that fucking thing away?" I was like, "But it's working."
Yeah, it does. It's good, and do you know what? I've got to give props to you for actually using it. Like I joke around and all that, and I'll say, "Oh yeah," I was saying in the group chat earlier, I was like, I'll happily go and run an AK for a comp or something, just have a little laugh with it.
Yeah.
But that's it. I've always played at a disadvantage. So obviously I came from like a gas background, so I've always played against speedy boys. So when you got 35 rounds, you want to hit the twat that's running around the corner, knee sliding. So it was then natural to still do that outside, because I did run my MWS on bags as well against a team that's no longer a thing. And that was an experience.
I caught the back end of that a little bit about being called out for wearing jerseys and stuff. The amount of times where you've walked through a safe store and you're wearing a jersey, or literally, there's been times where even at district, I've came in, they've seen the jersey and they're like, "Oh, here's another fucking Speedsofter." You know what I mean?
Even the full face does it now. I went in a Christmas jumper and still got shit. What is that about?
Paintballers, that's what you get all the time.
Yeah.
And that stigma needs to stop, to be fair. Like, gas only comp when? Right, there is something in the works.
Oh, could you imagine?
No, there is something in the works.
That'd be great fun. I'm still wanting a mag flash for a flag.
Yeah,
There you go. It'd be a great time.
Within the next 2 weeks, a new event will be published. That involves gas only. That's all I will say. So, within the next 2 weeks, if you've got me on Instagram, you'll see some cool stuff happening. Like I said at the beginning, being able to do all the comps at district, obviously at the bunker technically, because that is what it is there. Being able to do the comps at the new bunker site is giving us a lot of leeway in what we can and can't do and stuff like that. So, but then the next 2 weeks you'll see some cool stuff. Which also leads on to the next kind of topic, which is NSL UK. Will it work? Won't it work? Like, do we want NSL here? Do we like? It's a bit of a touchy subject, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be great to have. Don't get me wrong, but will it run like abroad? I don't think so.
No, I don't think the UK scene can do it. It's £850, well, €850 entry for a team.
You're looking at 800.
Yeah, it's about £800, isn't it?
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I know it's a full weekend event, Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that, but will UK teams pay that money? Nah.
When you can come away with something, you can justify your costs of it. It's like, look, if we switch on here, you'll get some out of it. Like you said, when you're going abroad, make a holiday out of it.
Yeah.
You pay that to play around here. No.
Unless it was like a bit of a naughty prize. First place takes home £1.5, something like that, $2,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen that way.
No.
It was the whole reason why we stepped away from NSL was because of you not being able to win anything.
Is that down to their decision? Is that something they're like? No,
I believe so. I never fully went into the discussion with it because there was more stuff that went on that made us come away from it. We just didn't really want to go down that route. We didn't see it as being beneficial to district, considering what we're already doing. And the plans that we have for the next 6 to 12 months anyways. Is it worth it for us? Nah.
Very controversial comment that's just came.
I've just seen that and I'm skipping that.
Ouch.
The scene is a quarter of the size it needs to be for NSL. Yeah. See, I spoke to Fives about this a while ago, to be honest. We were talking about 2 sites within the UK. And I said to him, 2 sites won't work within the UK. There isn't enough, people, like enough teams to be able to cater for it. And he was a bit, no, it might. And I was like, definitely won't.
No. Like Kian was saying earlier, I pushed for people to make more teams because I've had people come to me and say, look, can we join you? It's like, if you've got enough of you to make a team, there's already 9 of us. Just make another team. It's so much better to just turn up and be like, I've never played these before. They might do something weird like we do. So it's something else to look out for. It just makes it more interesting than playing the same people every weekend. Right, that team's going to smash us. We're going to beat these. They're going to play like this. It just becomes very uniform.
I think, though, that is why a lot of teams are transitioning from Airsoft to paintball, though, is because if you look at paintball, there's, in Div 5, how many teams right now, Morgan? Good 10, 12 teams every event minimum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every division has got multiple teams, and it's got the whole divisionalized structure as well. So across the whole league as such, there's over 100 teams.
To be honest, the following and teams which paintball has compared to Airsoft, paintball just blows Airsoft completely out the water. I've been at CPPS when there's been 2 divisions going at it. They're doing comps. No, 3. There was
I was going to say you did the round 2 in that where everyone's there, isn't it?
Yeah, there was breakout
when you go there and it's everyone.
Div 4. All the fields were up. There was Manchester firm training. There was all sorts, and honestly, the amount of people there was amazing. It was Class Day.
Yeah. I say it to a lot of people. It's CPPS are an absolute master at what they do. They know their shit. And if anyone ever wants to have a real feel for what CPPS can do, go to NXL weekend. It's coming up. I'm just checking now. The 6th and 7th of July, right? Go to CPPS.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna
NXL
go.
weekend, right? It is a different level. Like, if people like what we do, CPPS blows us out of the water. Simple.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
6th and 7th of July it is. CPPS down in Penkridge, I think it is. Staffordshire. And it's genuinely, well, it is world class. They have people from America come over here. They get people from all over Europe coming here to play.
This gone last weekend. They had Oliver Lang down.
Yeah, they've had the Joust down and everything. Homesius. And they got, like, straight away. Honestly, I've played one CPPS Open Day and had more fun than any other Speedsoft event, different levels. Exactly. And that is only because paintball is a lot more established than what Speedsoft is. Like, Speedsoft will get to that level eventually.
However, we are getting there. Like
we are.
This past BZ Fest, there was a lot more airsoft content than there was paintball.
Yeah.
I heard that. I heard there was 70% airsoft, 30% paintball.
Yeah, it's starting to change. But the problem is in the competitive world, it's more 99% paintball, 1% airsoft in competitive. Whereas like CQB and stuff like that, like normal skirmish, it's because there's a lot of places that have stopped doing walk-ons for paintball because it's a lot more. They don't make as much money as they do out of airsoft. And a lot of sites have realised that and they've switched over to airsoft purely just because they're not making enough money out of paintball.
That was another reason why we did it at District as well. Like,
yeah.
One, it was destroying the arena, but other than that, like the paintball walk-ons were just empty. They were just dead. We had like one team, Phoenix Squadron. They won't be watching, but if anyone knows them, like Phoenix Squadron, they would come down and show the support every now and again. But other than that, like it was just completely empty. Like the airsoft walk-ons were just doing so much better.
But no, that's why a lot of sites are switching them. They're making more money out of
I suppose it is. Airsoft is more casual though, so it does make sense. But we were watching paintball. I think it was the night before the last District 23 comp. We were just counting the fields. I was like, it's basically a music festival. You've got 10 games going on at the same time. I was like, that's mental. Just walk down. Let's go and watch this division for a bit.
Yeah. But that's what on the 6th and 7th of July, that's CPPS, that's an NXL event, NXL Europe. And different gravy, completely different gravy. I'll be going down for the Saturday, 100%.
That starts on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday, don't it?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Friday is not really that worth going down for, if I'm honest. The Saturday and the Sunday is. The Sunday, if you can make that one, that's the best one. Because that's when all the pro teams go at it. And they go at it on the Saturday as well, but like the Sunday is the big one. And if you do manage to go there, if you go there on a Saturday, you'll see me there. I'll be watching. 100%. I'll be travelling down to go and see that. It's a mooch, but it's worth it. Like I said, CPPS, they know what they're doing, but like I said, they've been there for I think 12 years now, 11 to 12 years, and they've been growing their side of the scene for a long time.
And another plus to going to CPPS is that you get a side quest to Chopsticks.
Chopsticks, 100% Skeleton Lake Services, best place in the world.
Yeah.
That blows CPPS out of the water.
Yeah, it does, honestly.
But yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything on there. We have indeed. Obviously,
and you said we wouldn't get through all the topics. Smashed it.
To be fair, we're coming right up on the hour and a half as well, which is where it obviously best times to start like kind of look at ending it. But before we end it, what we'll do is we'll go through one by one and explain where people can find us on social medias and stuff like that. If they don't already follow us, Kian, we'll start for you.
Yeah, so you can find us at airsofessentials.com online, and on Instagram it's airsofessentials UK, and for myself it's sc.kian.11, and for this team it's Speed Cartel UK.
And Luke?
Yeah, so mine's pretty universal for the personal one. Callsign Hicks, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. The team page is Flashbang Airsoft on Instagram. I think.
Is that everything? And Morgan?
So I'm not a very big social guy. Like, if anybody's ever followed me, like it is on private. I just know. Like, if you're looking for like stories and stuff, probably not the best person to follow. But my same as my username on the stream, just Morgan SOT09, and then the team page Airsoft. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
I was waiting for someone to bring up a comment about Morgan Hager's TikTok there.
Done.
So basically, people don't know. Someone came up to Morgan. Where was it? Was it a district?
District, yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I found your TikTok here," and showed him Morgan Hager's TikTok instead of actually his. And he was like, "Oh, some of your videos are quite cool." And Morgan was just sat there like, "That's not me. Different person." That.
Hey. Wrong team.
Yeah. But yeah, I was waiting for someone. He always that Rush Morgan. There it is.
There it is.
I knew.
Get your shirt off, lad.
If you want to find me, my Instagram is just in the corner. Luke_curtain27. That pretty much wraps up everything. The next podcast I will be doing, because we are back on schedule now anyways. We had to skip last month because of closing down Bunker. But next month will be on the 1st of July. Monday the 1st. It's a nice way to start it. Other than that, anything else anyone wants to add?
I think we've pretty much wrapped everything up.
Mm.
Yeah. Dive Snake.
No, I'm
Go on,
good.
Morgan, Dive Snake.
No, I'm good.
Where's Key when you need him?
Yeah. Plus one, there's two people asking you there now, Morgan.
Oh, shit. No, I'm good. I'll take a pass.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in. And we will see you.